I can't believe it's 5 o'clock. Well, I'm just plugging away here. I'm gonna have to have a level that's gonna be sketch. Okay, so we haven't inked some of it. So let's go here. Let's turn the ink off for a minute. Okay, so this is all lip sync till it switches to this pose. So okay, that's fine. So we'll put the mouth in its own layer. So I guess I actually am done. Okay. Well, in that case, let's turn on the eraser. Well, actually, we don't need to do that. What we can do is just hit the control. And that's cool. Very good. So we do need another layer. And that layer is going to be on top, so we should really put it up here. And we'll just call this mouth. What do we want for mouth? Let's do a new material that is... Let's add a new material. And then here's how you clone a material. I'm going to use my ink material, but then I'm going to hit this duplicate button. So now it basically creates a new version of it. So if I change this color, it's not going to update the one that I cloned it from, which obviously is kind of what you would want, behaviorally speaking. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just boop, put a key in there. And then right here, we've got the sketch on. So come to think of it, what I really want to do here is let's do sort of a inner mouth tone, and let's turn the fill on. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit Control and erase that. Whoops. Okay. Control Z. I'm sorry, Z. Okay, so now what I just learned is that the eraser works on all visible layers, so it's important that we lock the ink layer. Okay, now we can't accidentally erase. So we're on the mouth layer, but we can see the ink layer, but it's locked. Okay, and there, Blender just warned me. Okay, wrong. Okay, here's the problem. There. And now that I see it, I can see that I really want this to be a little lighter, something like that. Okay. And if we turn the paint on, yeah, it looks fine. So now we're going to go through and put in the keys. Okay, and here we've got a little different one. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another material, and I'm going to base it on mouth. Where's mouth? Okay, that's interesting. I guess I need to, sorry, base it on, it doesn't want to let me scroll down. So is that a bug? Yeah, maybe. Alright, and then I need to hit this. So it's a clone. Mouth with teeth. Okay, and then that's going to be, the inside color is going to actually be a form of gray. That's going to be just south of white. Okay, and I'm going to actually, I'm just clicking that to enforce the creation of a key. Okay. Hold on. I wonder if we put the sketch, let's put the sketch up top so we can see it better. Okay, so now I want this material. Okay, undo. My bad, I was in the wrong layer. Alright, for this one I want the teeth. And right there, I want to go back to the teeth. Alright, and now we want to grab our ink color and just do this. Whoops. My bad. Got to make sure it's on the correct key. So actually at this point I should be able to hit my up and down arrows to toggle between the keys. Okay, very good. Now I can hide my sketch layer and turn on my paint layer. Alright, very good. Obviously we got some slight fill issues there, and we've got to fill our final key. So let's stop that and go to here. Boom. And we're going to go to the paint layer. Let's go to skin, and by the way, as long as we're here, let's start saving these. Start naming them, and then let's save our work. Click. Okay, so now we're going to shift spacebar for the fill tool. Okay, and I'll fix the bleed there in just a moment. So now we're going to go to the shift spacebar, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that we're catching the hair here. We've got that closed. I think that did the trick. Yep. So as you can see, pretty easy to deal with quick fixes. Now let's go way in here, and here I guess we'll use our mouth with teeth color, and I'm just going to use the draw tool for this, like so. Oops, can't do that. My bad. I can, but mouth with teeth, paint. Yes, right, that's problematic. So actually I need to make a duplicate, and we'll call this, we'll call it eyes or something like that. But I wish, okay, so if you drag down right here, I'm actually scrolling my mouse wheel right there. Because if you click this and then come down here and keep dragging, it doesn't scroll through them. So you literally have to. Okay, my bad. Okay, that's a clone. So we go mouth with teeth. And now we take this one and we hit the clone button and then rename it. And now we have a color that is good for the eyes. And what we don't want is we don't want a stroke on that. Okay, so now we can go like this, and we can know that it's all going to show up behind, which is what we want. And now when we were working in OpenToonz, the color that we used for her nightie is the same color we used for her eyes. So therefore we should be able to go like that. I'm seeing that sometimes you need to, I guess I should have used the fill tool for that, but in any case, I'm going to go to my eyes color now, and I'm actually going to make these a little lighter, like so. And now I'm going to go into my ink layer and take my ink marker and just go ahead and put in a little bit of detail. Okay, and we're going to deal with highlights and shadows here shortly. So first thing let's look at is this. Basically, in the paint layer, we probably want to have at least a little bit of an indication of the eye color. Well, actually, you know what? Let's undo that. Let's put this color in first and then come in over top of it with that. That works. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so save early, save often. So now, here's the shadow color. And we want to put this on top of everything. So, honestly, should it be over top of the mouth? I would say yes. So there's that. Hit save. Now if we scroll back to the beginning, we need to turn that on. As you can see, I already did the shadowing on the first frame. So now I'm using the ink marker, if you will, to just whip around here, and maybe here we'll go ahead and add a little bit of texture. So again, I'm pretty impressed. Things are going fast. I can see, by the way, that there's a spot there on the in the paint layer where the skin never got filled. I'm actually going to just fix that right now with my brush. I'm not even going to bother using the fill tool. Going to the next key, I can see we have a problem here, and that's not going to be acceptable. So now the question, this is kind of an interesting conundrum. I've never bumped into this one before. What it seems like I need to make this work would be a material that's got alpha, 100% alpha in both the stroke and the fill, so that you can effectively erase the fill. But probably what I should do is just go, let's just hide all these other layers and then go into edit mode with the tab, grab that, and then hit X and delete the strokes. That's probably the better way to do it. Okay, so now we can see what the problem is. We're in the paint layer as we want to be, and we need to go, was it Control Tab? Yes, Draw. And what we want to do is we want to seal that right there. Okay, so now we should be able to hit Shift Spacebar, grab the fill tool, and now we're back in business. And then here's the hairband. Boom. Okay, so now we're back to shadows. Shadow. Oops. My bad. Not supposed to be using the fill tool for that. I'm trying to be a little more selective. So it'll be interesting to see how this cuts in with the show. Definitely. Alright. And while we're here, I can see that probably a little bit of detail on her ears wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay, and by the way, if you have an eagle eye, you notice that the ink is a little thicker on these first couple of frames. I'm not actually going to worry about that at this point. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock all my layers except for the ink layer. Why? So that I can hit Control and just erase this. Okay, and then I'm on my ink color, so then I can go ahead and just draw that line back in and fix it. So this is another good thing with Blender 2.8 that I'm seeing is, you know, fixing things is kind of rapid. It really is pretty quick and easy to make little adjustments to add production value, which is kind of what I'm doing now. I'm going to add some color-based tweaks on the hair, by the way, as well, but for now, oops, that one I didn't like. A little too much. Okay. So let's zip back here, and now let's go ahead and unlock these again and go to the shadow layer, shadow color, and now we're back to work. Okay, this one is, we got to go click. Boom. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. And then she's going to do a bunch of jabbering. And then when we switch to this pose, I also like the fact that despite the fact that there's a camera move, it doesn't really affect anything in terms of this coloring work. Okay, something's wrong. Not sure what's wrong, so I'm going to hit save just to be safe. So we're looking right here, and we are on the shadow layer, shadow color, pencil. Up, that did it. Okay, so now I'm going to go, I think maybe when I started drawing that, I was actually off the page, and so Blender didn't detect the beginning of my stroke. That's probably all that was. Okay. Not too bad. Now here's where we're going to do an adjustment. I'm going to go Control Tab, go into Sculpt mode, and what I want to do is lock everything. I haven't yet learned for Blender 2.8 like the hotkeys for soloing a layer and stuff like that, so I definitely want to learn that, but I'm just going to use the Sculpt tool to fix this a little bit, and then in Shift Spacebar I'm going to grab the smoothing tool, just smooth that out a little bit, and then go back to grab, because 99% of the time I'm using the grab tool. So back to draw mode, and actually I believe, okay, so now I see that for some reason this might be, not sure why Blender decided I wanted all those other keyframes. Now that was a definite issue in 2.79. It would create keyframes in all the available layers, which is almost never what you'd want. So, okay, now we call this the shadow layer, but it's also going to be the highlight layer. So let's again save our work, because what I want to do is I want to add some detail in the hair. All right, and we could do that with the shadow tool or the shadow color. Let's just experiment a bit, shall we? So, like for example, okay, Control Z. Okay, so now what just happened was we're not on the most current keyframe. That's where I need to be. Okay, so now I want some terror in this girl's eyes. All right. So again, this is where I have a feeling I'm gonna get spoiled by Blender 2.8. Okay. Now if I was using the if I was using the sculpting tools or the proportional editing tool in projection mode, then you would expect to create keys on every single layer when you modify something. Okay, So I wonder if you can like scroll your mouse wheel here. Oh, that just zooms it. What about, okay, shift pans it around. So shift goes up and down. So what does control shift do? Nothing. Alt does nothing. Okay, so there is no mouse wheel option to sort of scroll through the keys. That's okay. I just wondered if there was or not. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add some shadow detail here, just because we can. Alright, and I see the hairband paint layer. I guess I could just hit control and do this that way. Okay, so now we're back to shadow. So you can see from what I did right there that it is obviously apparent that I could have done the hairband, which, by the way, I just colored that hairband in the shadow layer accidentally. I'm not going to fix that. I frankly don't really care. Let's just add that little twinkly winkly and we're good to go. Okay. Yeah, because like what I'm trying to do here is just get a feel for what I can do with Blender 2.8 and how quickly I can do it. Okay. Yes, I am singing the theme to, what are they called? The little blue people? I can't remember the blue people's name. It was like one of the longest running cartoons of all time. You guys remember the blue people. La 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 la. Yeah, I guess I don't really like that. That's okay. Alright, now this is zipping around pretty fast. So there's a bunch of jabbering. And then this. I already did this one. So actually, I guess I'm done. Alright, so save early, save often, as I like to say. So now on the shadow layer, I'm also going to put highlights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a color. I'm going to make it a duplicate of the shadow color. So in order to do that, I got to go down here. I'm going to make it a duplicate of shadow. I'm going to call this highlight. And the reason I did that is all the settings in it are already correct. I just want it to be white instead of black. Ah, that's no good. Sorry. Bad, 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 bad. Sorry, I forgot one step. I need to make the clone. Okay, so this is going to be highlight, and then I just accidentally changed the shadow color name. So, all right, so now we change this to white, and now we can go in and do stuff like that. Now, I do want to maybe play around with how aggressive we want that highlight to be. Alright, so now let's just start working our way backwards. That's too strong. La 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 la. Come on, what were those people called, the little blue people? Hey Kyle, what's the cartoon of the little blue people? Smurfs. Never mind. Smurfs. Couldn't remember the name of the stupid Smurfs. Isn't that weird? Okay, so now what I want to do is on 2's here, I want to add a new key, and I'm going to key all of these layers, because what I'm actually going to do let's leave them all unlocked. And do we want to use the sculpt tool or proportional editing? I favor proportional editing. This doesn't really work though. This actually does not work because it messes up the... Obviously, you can see why it doesn't work. Duh. So yeah, we can't go like that. The fact that I would even entertain the possibility of leaving it. Now, okay, now there's a bug. There's a bug. I'm going to hit undo. Okay. So what's interesting here, did you see that line? Okay, that's interesting. Weird. Huh. And then it's gone. But when I land there, when I just land there, there it is. That is a little strange. Okay, we might be bumping into some of the rough edges of the Blender grease pencil, definitely. Okay, so when we stop, it's like we're seeing the borders of a lot of the fill ops. And what's interesting is we only see them when we stop moving, which is kind of unfortunate. So this key definitely needs to be gotten rid of because I know everything's on 2s. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull back here and see what happens when we play. Okay, it seems okay when we play it. So I'm going to assume that it probably is fine when we render it too. Now, is the render going to include the background as an alpha situation, or is it going to make it white? I don't have a clue. So let's go. I'm actually having to remember here as I haven't done this in a bit. It seems to me it was in the view menu. View, viewport render image. Okay, so this comes up here and it looks like it's clean. So that's good news. Okay, so we should be able to render the whole thing now. What I'm going to do is, just for lack of a better idea, I'm going to go with AVI JPEG, or like a MJPEG, because I know that it will look good, and it is a codec that's been in Blender for 20 years and is reliable. So 1280 by 720 is actually what we're doing. We're doing broadcast HD, 24 frames a second. We want to go to, let's let Blender wakey here. I don't know why the file ops are seeming to want to take longer than one would expect, but anime render, and then we're going to go to is this 71 or 72? I don't know. Okay. I'm going to guess that it's... Sorry, I need to redo that. I'm going to guess that it was 71. No, 71 was the ninjas. I wish I had... Let me look and see if I have thumbnails in the other view. Over here, it's actually 69. Okay, cool. That's what I need. So 69 is what I'm doing, but it shouldn't be MP4. So what I really want to do with Blender is I want to go 69 and then put a dash, because it's going to put the frame range after it. Then what we want to do is we want to go AVI JPEG. 90% is generally pretty good. And since the hang on, I'm just going to get back to my materials. Okay, because the old version of it was an MPEG 4. I'm not overwriting it, so I can go ahead and render. So what I want to do is go right here in the main view. The reason I switched it to here is I'm pretty sure that if I take this, I'm sorry. Is it here? No. I'm having maybe a... I think I'm having a dyslexic moment. I'm looking straight at the menu that I just did a moment ago, which was View, Render, and for some reason all of a sudden I don't see it, which is a little frustrating. I just want to render. Well, that's okay. I'm going to switch it to here and hit F11. Okay, it looks like F11 did the same thing. I'm sorry, F10. Okay, yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay, so if I hit F12, I see a white background. So I assume that that is a white background as opposed to alpha. And here, okay, so the fact is I don't know. I don't know what the background is. When I rendered it a moment ago through the menu option that I was looking straight at and now has apparently disappeared. Okay, there it is. Viewport render image. Okay, see, now it's not white in the background, so I assume that it has a proper alpha channel. Therefore, what threw me is these are regular window menus. This is not a regular window menu. It's like a submenu within the Blender window. So, but here's what we want is viewport render animation. And so now that's rendering out. And I think we're going to be in good shape. It looks, in the other screen, it does look like it's rendering. Okay, and then that holds for about 20 frames. So now this is not 100% stellar. The outline is black-ish, and I think it needs to be a little bit lighter, more of a charcoal. I'm really not happy with the tassels. They really need to have some gravity happening. So I'm sort of, since this is actually my first day back to working with Blender 2.8, I'm kind of being a little bit easy on myself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is close this, and I'm actually going to open Blender 2.79 because Blender 2.79 is where my video editing is, and I don't really want to upgrade this file to 2.8 at this point. It's kind of too important because this is my video edit. Okay, so these guys right here were actually done. Let me make this big. Okay, so this next shot right here was done in Blender 2.8 today. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking. So now the one that we need to change is this one. I'm just going to drag the new one in over top of it. I don't know about that alpha channel. I got a feeling. Okay, man, it looks pretty good. See, this is what I had before, and I kind of like the attitude, but I'm not happy with it. Okay, so okay, what did you do? Let's zap this back a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that short. So anyway, not bad. That was done in Krita. So it's really a mishmash. This was OpenToons. I think Krita. OpenToons, I believe, yes. Open Tunes. Open Tunes. Krita. Blender. Blender. So the thing I like in Blender is with the grease pencil using the sculpt tool right here on this guy. I like how easy it is to get that secondary animation to just add a little bit of quality. Now this shot is not perfect by any means, but and I have no idea what's going to happen as far as the background goes. The problem that we have is that when I was messing with dragging background images into the viewport in Blender earlier, for the life of me I couldn't get it to render. I didn't do a Google search for answers to that question. I didn't pour through the manuals, so there's some steps I haven't taken yet. So obviously it's kind of important that we have a background image in here, and it really should be a plane in the background. So let me go back to Blender 2.8. Unfortunately, you cannot have both versions open at the same time. It's a little annoying. One will tell you that there's already Blender open. But anyway, I actually have to get out of here. So, open recent. What did you do? Blender 2.8 version. So what I need to do is, in this 3D view space or viewport, I need to put a plane and map the background image to it. That way it'll be affected by the camera move just like she is, and in fact we may even get some parallax, which would be kind of nice. So anyway, that's it for now, and I'm sure there will be more later.